Going live. Doing it live. What up? What up, fam? Welcome to a different episode of VideoChronic Pop Culture Quiz than the one we normally see. I am one half of your hosting team. I am VideoDrew. With us, not right now, but in spirit probably, is the other half, Eric, NerdChronic. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today because NerdChronic is finishing up some way more important work than our awesome thing. And I figured since I just had my match today, you guys probably have a couple questions and comments and thoughts. And I do want everyone to know that the Streamlabs is open. That's streamlabs.com/VideoDrew. And we can just kind of get started. So today is like a little bit of a it's in casual. It's a casual thing. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. We do have our first Streamlabs actually from Movie Fanobi, who says, Drew, you were glorious today. Even if it was back to your future in the past, it is. I was very proud, very entertained, amazing. Then there was a teeth sign, a heart, a teeth sign, a heart, a teeth sign, and a heart. Thank you, Movie Fanobi. There's some other fun stuff too that happened today. Let's see. Ryan TBD. I haven't seen the Black Delilah. Oh, I get it. Very funny, Ryan. I did see the Black Delilah in theaters, and I walked out of it because I was like, this movie is not great. I might have been on drugs. I can't remember. Let's see. Any idea what the movie will be? No, not yet. Today we're just kind of rolling with it because just to let you guys know a little bit about what's going on in my neck of the woods. Today, all the movers did come and drop my stuff off, which means I just have like the garage that is now my home is also just now piled full of like boxes and stuff. And I'm kind of working on another paid project right now that I've been asked to do, which is really exciting, but very labor intensive. And I was very sick yesterday. I was like pretty sure I was going to die sick yesterday. But that was just me overreacting. I was just getting really nauseated and stuff, and I was dehydrated, which led to like a very bad cycle of sickness going on. And it was a tough day. So then I woke up today being like, oh, the movers are here. Oh, also my match is starting in 20 minutes. Oh, also I'm just recovering from this thing. Hey, I got a new sub. Let's see. Moving this up. Hey, thanks for, whoa, that's my face. Thanks for subbing. Let's see, their name is Sasquatch818. Oh, you guys want to know what else happened today? Today I thought that for a while on the internet, someone had doxed me and leaked my phone number to the world because I was getting all these voicemails from people being like, hey, not sure if this is your old number, like not sure if this is for real or if this is just like another bit, but like, good job with the stuff today and you did great. And they were completely nice, non-creepy messages, but I was just getting a lot of voicemails from people I did not know. And I was like, oh no, my number has been doxed on the internet. Spent like 3 hours trying to track down, was it Reddit, was somewhere else, like, who would do this? And then it just turned out that I did that. Like I did that when I claimed my Google business as VideoDrew and put a phone number on there and then forgot to see what the Google results said if I Googled VideoDrew. It just said my name and phone number. So it's been a weird day. Let's see. It's not basketball. Drew's diary might be involved. That's true. Might be involved. Hey, Vernon. Hi, Rob. Hey. Hanging out my morning. Let's just see. Let's see. Question. Do I have any more matches? Oof. Yeah. It's not great. Yeah. No. There was a point yesterday where I was, well, we don't have to get into it, but I was definitely like a gross monster creature that needed to be taken care of, much like my friend Baby Yoda, baby green screen Yoda. Oh, that's perfect. Wow. I really wish I had had this for the match, but I brought Baby Yoda here as like a little prop to talk about at the post-match game because I really like playing Yoda. But now they've done that thing. Disney's done that thing where they've turned this into baby propaganda. And they've like calibrated his head and body so like still Baby Yoda is just perfectly balanced. I just kind of want to put him in the nook of my arm and constantly like cradle him like he's a real baby. He's got the little eyes and the nose. He's so cute. He's so cute. I mean, it's Baby Yoda. Of course it's cute. It's cuter than a real baby. It's just Baby Yoda. He's got the little, it's like, using the force. Both hands. So yeah. This started out as a bit, and now I love it. And now, if anyone tries to take this away from me, I will go all crazy on them. Yeah, everything I own just happens to be chroma keyed out. That was a very funny bit that I was planning to do for this match. I wanted my whole makeup thing to be chroma keyed out, and that didn't really work as a look, as they could say. But yeah, I figured that today, because like if I really just showed you what was going on in this room right now, everyone would be like, "That's scary. You look like a scary person." So should I show you guys that? Or what I can do while we just kind of like banter and do the ultimate vamping, I guess, is I found my journal from, oh, of course. Yeah, that tracks. So I found my middle school journal. I think this is from middle school because I'm still calling myself Sarah in it. And it has like a lot of impressive information in here. And I don't mind self-owning. So like if you guys want to just hear my journal entries from like 12 to 13-year-old Drew or 14-year-old Drew, maybe even, I could do that. Let's see how we get up there on the moving goals, because I've already moved now and I'm still trying to make ends meet. So yeah, I can just sit here like laughing at my own jokes, being like, "Ha, that was really clever." But I will start out by saying there's a lot in here about Star Wars, like a lot. Apparently there might be a couple of references to a diet that I thought I was going to take when I was 12 or 13 years old, and that diet consisted of only one dessert per day and only one soda per day, and that was the diet. That was the whole thing. It just said one soda, one dessert. Ah.
Vernon donated $10.
Oh yeah.
Amazing match today. VideoDrew is queen.
VideoDrew's queen. Thank you for your donation, Vernon. Yeah, I feel like that earned something. I'm also just like going through all the stuff that I now have, and that's like a fun game too of like, what stuff do I own? Because I've been living here for months now without owning stuff. Name it Riley. It is named Riley. I mean, I don't need to name it Riley. It's just named like Riley. That's what they call him. That's what he is. He's a Yoda. So let's see. What a surprise. Chroma keyed out. That wasn't intentional. Okay, so I was doing some casting for Into the Woods, it looks like. Let's see. Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
John Harris donated $5. Question: am I mentioned in this journal?
You might be. Lon's asking if he's in this journal. Like, all right, let me just do this. I was really into Star Wars. You have to understand, I just saw Star Wars. Okay. I just went to see Empire Strikes Back today. I'm now so fully in love with this Han Solo. I spelled it with an S on the end. Han Solo. I'm thinking about hunting down Billy D. Williams and killing him. I am so in love with Han Solo, I'm thinking about hunting down Billy D. Williams and killing him. I could clearly differentiate between the character and the actor, but not in this instance where I, in my diary, Travis Bickle style, threatened the life of Billy D. Williams. Yikes. Hi, Sean. Princess Leia spelled wrong, and Hans also spelled wrong. First kiss was so romantic, problematic. I'm now a fully fledged Star Wars fan. No, I'm not. And whenever their name comes up in a conversation, I scream with joy, probably out loud. I usually do that last part in my head, I'm telling myself. So, you know, future me. Owned. Let's see what else is here about Star Wars. Oh, yeah. I was saying my middle name was almost Leia. And I'm really mad because Sarah means princess in Hebrew. And then my name could have been Princess Leia. Grant. Whoops. I just have to change my last name now into Alderaan. I don't think that this was her last name. Her name wasn't Princess Leia Alderaan. Oh man, I'm really confused. There's a lot to unpack here. Because I think I'm becoming so obsessed. I need to stop now. And then I should start talking about guys who I have a crush on. And then now I've gotten that part off my chest, back to Star Wars. I wish I had the Force. That'd be so cool. I had a dream where I could move things by thinking about it, and maybe it's a sign. I think I also made sense of that weird plane dream I had 2 weeks ago. I remember being in a plane, and I think our pilot was a wacko. He said he worked for Bell Atlantic Company. I told him I think I was going to be sick, and he told me I was lucky he wasn't James Earl Jones. So this might also have something to do with Star Wars? What do you think? I don't know, guys. What do you think of this old dream I had? Wait, young VideoDrew wasn't even VideoDrew. This was Sarah Organa. Organa was her last name? Okay. Let's get ready to Schmoedown. Hi guys. Here's a B. Here's Burn. So guys, yeah, we're doing is young Drew Radiohead? VideoDrew? Maybe. This young Drew wasn't even Drew. This young Drew was named Sarah. So you're right, Rob. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it in school. Really weird curriculum. But no, they did the remastered thing, I think, when I was around this age. They released all the remastered Star Wars, remember? So I did see it in theaters. And I did see the original in theaters, too, I believe. I think I saw Empire, right? Like, I saw Empire in theaters. It was, like, one of my first movies. I was a baby, but I did see it. Or, like, came out on my birthday or something. I think that dream was about CNN. Maybe. The whole Bell Atlantic thing was real weird. Let's see what else I've gotten. Okay, more about Star Wars. This whole thing is just Star Wars related. God, I really hate Ashley. She's so short, but she bosses everyone around. This was not about Star Wars. How come Ruth likes her? I don't know. Who's Ruth? I've seen Star Wars recently. This, by the way, this is the handwriting of a child sociopath. I've seen Star Wars recently. The new trilogy. I would love to beat Princess Leia. She's so cool. I don't think I was talking about the new trilogy. I think I was saying the remastered original trilogy, but at the time that was the only Star Wars movie. So I'm saying the new remastered trilogy, right? So Star Wars is cool. She is so cool. She's a strong, witty character, but she still needs a rescuer. Problematic. She's not all brain, not all brawn, and vice versa. I wish she could be that way with, and then some name is scrawled out in heavy black ink. Yep. I mean, Princess Leia and Han Solo fought. She was even in love with Luke, which is very perverted because she likes him in that way, and they're brother and sister. Spoilers. Sometimes I wish I was Han Solo. I'm not. And then it's just getting real deep into some gender identity issues, I guess. I'm just saying I'm not gay or bi. I'm just thinking he cool. I just think he cool. He's self-dependent, conceited, but has a good heart. Sometimes I think I'm in love with that. If I had to cast people in Star Wars and then just people I know, and then it says, hold on. When we get into the Frighteners. I can't stop talking about Star Wars, but my new favorite TV show is Spider-Man. He's not old. He's not an old fogey like Clark or Bruce. He's funny, got a great figure, and still has the time to worry about a regular high school. Okay. Well, that was my feelings about Spider-Man. Just briefly touched on. So how's this going? Where's Sarah? It was Sarah without an H? You guys want to hear me talk smack about other girls in my Hebrew school? Because, like, we can talk smack about what I think is going on with, like, Ruth and Mariel and stuff. This whole thing is like nonsense. Like, the other girls at Hebrew school are okay. Jessica would be really cool if she wasn't so quiet. Allison's just plain annoying. Ruth is cool except that she shoplifts and steals too much. Ruth sounds pretty cool. Andrea smokes, and Mariel's cool. And the guys are so, and then a word we can't say anymore. I'm really just taking notes. I'm really just taking notes on everybody on Hebrew school. Actually, Sarah's a cool name. I'd like my middle name to change. I hate my middle name, Drew. Wait, what? I hate my middle name, Drew. It's really boyish, and every time somebody asks my middle name, I have to tell them. And they gave me this look. Like, Sarah Drew, what the hell were your parents thinking? She's a girl, for crying out loud. Really, I had to change a heart somewhere. This guy I like is like a drunken Chewbacca. He actually just had a speech impediment. Then I'm talking about this guy, Matt, who thinks he's so cool, but he's trying to flirt with me, but he took my bag, and then he took my pen out, and I hope he knows a good dentist. Oh, that's right, I broke his tooth. I really just glossed over that. I broke this guy Matt's tooth trying to flirt with him by pushing his face into a water fountain because he wouldn't give me my pen back. I watched the entire movie The Fugitive today just to see Harrison Ford. It was a really depressing movie. I read this book. It's a continuation of the Star Wars with Han and Leia's kids, twins. It must run in her family. What are the odds of 2 generations of boy-girl Jedi twins? I'm thinking of calling George Lucas and asking to star in a movie about that. Almost happened. On a side note, Return of the Jedi is coming out in 2 Fridays. So yeah, this must have been like when they re-released the original trilogy. I can't wait. And some really dark family stuff. Let's see. There's a lot of these. Okay, here we still got some more Star Wars. Now someone just has to mention the first letter of anything that has to do with Star Wars and my ears perk up. Needless to say, I'm doing very well in school because I am so attentive. I wonder if anyone will ever read this journal. Oh, Drew. I mean, Sarah. This could become the second Anne Frank diary. Nope. Nope. I should have really fact checked this a lot more before going into it. So guys, I know this is usually the space that we do the VideoChronic pop culture quizzes. And that might still happen. But like, first of all, A+ for Sarah, thinking she was the biggest Star Wars fan, but then like not being able to spell anyone's character's name, not being able to differentiate between the actors and the characters, not being able to like really know anything about Star Wars except that she really liked Han's Solo, and Princess Leia, Leigh, although that changed every single time I try to spell her name. This is great. Problematic. Yes. Yes. To be fair, I was Jewish, so it's like less problematic, but still highly problematic. I still think the worst part is when I say I love Star Wars so much that I'm going to go hunt down and kill Billy D. Williams. Like, this is some Travis Bickle shit right here. Beckles? Yeah. So let's see. Let's see what else I have in here. Oh, ironically, then the Princess Diary, the Carrie Diaries. Are these more? Got some witchcraft books. I got some crazy books. Let's see if I can find my diary. Yeah. So yeah, that's what was going on there. It's no biggie. Don't get it twisted. I was in love with Han Solo. And also all the boys in school. Let's see. The new guy in my SS class is really funny. What SS class? Social studies. It's not how you say it. Let's see. I'm bored with my life and I need a change of pace. Not moving or anything. More like Star Wars suddenly opened up a portal and me and my friends jumped through it and turns into Star Wars characters. Yeah, that kind of change of pace. I'm bored, so good night. Gosh. Watching Caitlin talk about Star Wars is enough reason to stop liking it. That girl's so boring. Kristen likes Austin, but I can understand because he's cute. But Sarah likes Dan, which I can't understand because he's so incredibly ugly. I read the entire book, The Giver, today, even though I was supposed to only read 2 chapters. Very proud of myself. I'm also starting my Maftiv, which is really Mufti. I'm talking about a Haftorah portion. I drew a shortened version of the Star Wars Heart people. Neat looking, aren't they? Have I mentioned how much I love Harrison Ford? I know I sound really shallow, but I do. You know, Carrie Fisher was only 19 when she played Princess Leia. She's probably hitting herself on the head right now for not getting Harrison Ford's autograph. She had the chance. On second thought, she probably does have it. Good night. Oh, what's funny is like, yeah, how, like, if only I could go back in time, which I can, and tell like young Sarah to cut that shit out. Drew's a great name. B, you don't love Star Wars. You love Star Wars, but not in an efficient way. You love Star Wars the way that, like, you know, the way that Hinckley loved, Jodie Foster. It's not a healthy, nor is it a comprehensive love of this like subject material. I didn't love it enough to like know any of the salient plot details or to like understand the things or to get any of the details absorbed. I didn't love Star Wars enough to even keep watching it multiple times for anything other than this very problematic issue I was grappling with, I guess, about romantic feelings and how to treat people romantically. And I guess we're getting the sense that I really thought that the Han Leia thing was like indicative of how relationships was supposed to go, to the point that I then broke a guy's tooth because I liked him. Yeah. It only goes upwards from here, guys. Let's see. Then I tried writing them cursive, which is going to be a hard nope. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure that I'm going to read them by saying the same questions over and over. Let's see. This is also before I became like really clever. Like this is just me being like a child. Guess what? Harrison Ford is so cute. Have I mentioned that? I accidentally look halfway decent, blah, blah, blah. I want to look like Marianne from Indiana Jones. She's really cool. I get up on trying looking like Princess Leia because of the anonymous copycat has struck down again. Yesterday, Bobby, my little sister, has literally destroyed my whole image by unflatteringly copying me. I swear. Oh, well, now I'm depressed again. Night, Sarah. Sarah sucks. Okay. This is really coming from the heart, people. There is nothing like your first tooth. And it wasn't my first tooth. That wasn't the first tooth I broke out of some guy's mouth. There was a kid, Alex, who when I was like 5 or 6, we were racing our strollers up. Our parents were friends. We were having a stroller race up the steps for the Bronx Zoo, which has these very, very steep steps. And I was like 5 or 6, and he was winning. And I had this Spartacus moment without having seen Spartacus, where I was just like, you know what? Like, I bet he would not win if I just pushed my foot out a little bit, just tripped him over put my foot out. Yeah, that was a really steep incline. I kicked him. I kicked out his stroller from under him. He went toppling backwards, broke the four front teeth in his mouth, and was like bloody and wailing at the bottom of the staircase. And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. So I ran down the staircase and was like looking at him, like, touching his face and stuff, and being like, "Are you okay? Oh my god, oh my god!" And like, oh no, he's gonna totally rat on me. But I was hysterical by the time the ambulance came, and I had all this blood on me from like touching his blood and like trying to collect his teeth, for purposes, that they took me in the ambulance instead of him because they thought that it was me. So no, I have a history of breaking out people's teeth accidentally. But did you win? I mean, yeah, I won. That guy never tried to race me again in my life. Are you kidding me? Dude doesn't have incisors anymore. Yeah, I would say I won. Today has been the most depressing Sunday of my life. Oh, baby. The Purim Carnival was a washout. My mom is incredibly irritable and didn't want to watch Third Rock from the Sun. Oi, me. I did watch The Last Crusade on Friday. And Lauren is so lucky to have cool parents. Like, Lauren's mom bought her an ultra cool dress at Marshall's. Duh, my mom hated it. I think she's just cranky because she's sick. My sister's a Weasley little copycat. That means she either broke something expensive or she wants something. I don't want to go back to school. I want to stay home and watch Stargate and The Frighteners, and Harrison Ford movies. Oh, for a moment there, I actually believed myself. Good night. Oh, illegal reader of this journal. Very scared that someone was going to read my journal without my permission. Like, terrible underlying fear. Yeah. Hey, Danny Crawley. Hey, guys. So, yeah, if you guys want to ask me any questions, if you guys want to have any thoughts, any comments, any concerns about, like, anything, either this highly disturbing content, the match today, if you guys want to see me unpack some books, I can do any of that because today's a little bit different. It's not quite a quiz day because there's a lot going on. But yeah, There's a lot. There's a lot to literally and figuratively unpack here, including more journal entries. For example, you guys get a good zoom on this? And what's this book about? It's by the Hello Giggles people. So it's Zoe Deschanel and Sophia Rossi. Best friends, BFFs, soul twinsies, whatever you want to call them, Harper and Lily were born to be besties. With high school just around the corner, casual, cool Cali girl Harper and awkward, always costumed Lily make sure to text each other every day. And then it goes different direction. Now, why am I bringing this book up? Well, I wrote it. I wrote this whole book. Didn't write the title. I just wrote it. I ghost wrote it. I did in the 3 months before my wedding after launching a new vertical for The Observer. So I've undertaken a lot of work. I'd never written a book before. I wrote the entire thing on Ambien because I would have to work all day and then like I'd go home at night and have to go like write this whole other thing. I'd never written a novel before, so I was like, or a YA novel. It'd give me this broad like template of an outline. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I remember writing a lot of it. I can do something like this. You know, these two girls going to different high schools. Had some cool ideas in it. And then you get to a certain scene where the girls wanted to go to a party. Let's see. And where they decided to go, well, where I decided they should go. Let's see. Nope. Okay, yeah. So, turns out where I thought, I didn't spend any time in LA, so I had to like, this character who lived in LA, I had to figure out by like doing like geocache and figuring out what stuff is next to each other, what kind of references, pop culture references these kids would make, and where they would, more importantly, decide to go party. So I picked a place that I felt like, for like a YA novel, it's like a pretty clutch place for people to have their first party. So I decided on Friday, I rushed home after school and got ready to go to Murphy's Ranch. Now, Murphy's Ranch was a compound that was made in California for spying on Americans. It is now abandoned and dilapidated, but you can get there through Runyon Canyon, I believe. You can access this old Nazi compound. And I was like, what better place to send high school children in this whimsical Zoe Deschanel story to have their very first party than like an abandoned Nazi compound in the middle of Los Angeles's, you know, park forestry area. Let's see. Yeah. Funny enough, the first line of the book is Perm Carnival. The first line just says Perm Carnival, total washout. So let's see what I say about this, because I again only Googled information. I wasn't there. Let's see. I can't believe this part stayed in, because I say this place was a Nazi compound, and that's cool. Let's see. Bear with me. For a moment, I felt like Cinderella as I descended those epic steps. I don't know what I expected when I got to the gate of wrought iron gates that led to the compound. I could hear music below where the graffiti-covered bunkers were, but the giant outdoor staircase looked too daunting, so I ended up leaving in some corners. The whole scene was very cinematic. Great writing. The wild courtyard below opened into this giant ravine. The music blaring like 1,000 trumpets, if trumpets sounded like Eminem. And then I decided on funky, casual, sexy. And then there's no reference really here to the Nazi stuff, probably. Yeah. But this is where our character first gets her first kiss. And I just think I was trying to get some little bit of an edgelord thing. I mentioned Harmony Korine, which is a very cool reference to make in a high school book. I met the guy who made Spring Breakers. His name is Harmony. And then we make out. not me and him, sorry, the character. That's just very, very cool. So yeah, they took me in the ambulance. Excellent ending. Any ambulance stories? Oh man, yeah, a ton. In fact, you guys, I have several I have several one of these Hello Giggle books. I have like more than one. So if anyone wants to, maybe I should like auction them off at some point. I can give you I can sign it and show you guys it. I also have, let's see what else I have stuck in here. Because today is just, okay, so today is just going to be about, you can talk to me about the matches. You want to donate and send a question about the match. Or we can just keep going through my stuff, which is endlessly more interesting for a lot of reasons. So here's a drawing someone maybe of Evan Peters as Tate from American Horror Story Season 1. It's beautiful. It says, I told you, I tried to save you. You died crying. I held you. You were safe. You died loved. Really, really beautiful. And it's a good bookend because what I have right after that, you guys can see how well I'm doing on this, is an image or a little card that my sister made me for my birthday a few years ago. A birthday, conveniently, where I was about to interview Evan Peters. So we're at this Beetlejuice themed bar. I'm interviewing him about X-Men, but really I'm there because I'm like, I fucking love you. I fucking love you. I'll kill Billy D. Williams for you. I love you so fucking much. My sister made this card. She's an artist now, tattoo artist. You should check her stuff out. It's hannah.claire.grant. I believe that's her name on Instagram. Way more prolific than me. She's a tattoo artist. She did Movie Finobi's tattoo. Super good, super creepy stuff. So let me set the stage. 31st birthday. My sister shows up. Evan Peters is there because I made up a whole reason that for some reason the guy I was interviewing also needs to stop by my Beetlejuice themed birthday party. I'd made up last second just to have him be able to be there because I loved him. To my sister on her special day. So Evan Peters was really impressed by this. He like loved it, and he put it like on Instagram and stuff. And I was like, that's cool. That's cool. It's like very on brand. And yeah, that gives you a little bit of background into my family history, or the fact that this is a sunny family. The Grant family is actually, we're pretty good. We just have like a morbid sense of humor. Let's see. I've also got a bunch of crystals, a bunch of skulls, like the witches spell cookbook. Yeah, if that worked, then we'd be in a much different situation. Let's see. The yellow wallpaper. Remember how crazy that book was? Charles Manson. Yeah. I have a history of the Magic Haunted Mansion. I've got a Chuck Palahniuk coloring book, Legacy. And I have Satanic Panic, a pop culture paranoia and pop cultural paranoia from the 1980s. So there's a lot going on here. What would you guys like to look at? What would be interesting to you? Well, I have the skulls. I have the crystals. Let's see if I can do this, actually. Let me see if I can add in. Maybe we'll do this real quick. Sorry, guys, if you came here for something else and today isn't hitting your speed, then honestly, what are you doing? This is like the best content I've ever put out. Let's see. NDI source. Yeah. New source. Oh no, not seeing the whole thing. Okay, you know what? Fine. So that's some of the, this is some of the crystals. Got to get those crystals. They're relying on, yes, animal fur. Let's see what else we got. We got that next to VideoDrew. I'm supposed to do that. We've got mannequin hands. It's very helpful to be able to show you guys exactly what kind of nonsense I'm looking at here. Yeah. There were some skulls that were immediately a problem. Yeah. Let's see. Perfect. These skulls have vodka in them? No, what do I look like? What do I look like? Okay, Lon, help me out with the reference. What do I look like? Somebody in a movie that Dan Aykroyd was in, and it was very clear that the condition for him being in it was that they mentioned skull vodka. Was that Elvis with crystals? No, that was VideoDrew with crystals. If you guys want to learn more about the crystals and the crystal stuff, Kingdom of the Crystals, here, let me do a split pane right here. So let me add in NDI source and then make it a little bit more accessible. This kind of feels like going back to like what we used to do. Yeah, I kind of love it. Okay. Okay. What I need to do is make it smaller. Hold on one second. Make it smaller, make it fashion. Okay. Hey, no, you're doing a really good job. I'm doing a really good job of holding the fort down. Good. In fact, I'm not even sure if we were gonna be able to get to a.
I'm here. We do the news.
News? Like I wanted to like show everyone my diary and stuff, but you know what? Never mind. Don't read my diary. Yeah, we'll just turn this off for now. Guys, look who's here.
Hello.
How many integral changes do you have for those dolls? That was pretty cool. Yeah, here's the thing, and I don't want to say this. I know Finovi and Heather, but they made everything for me. I think there's like 8 faces. The problem is some of the magnets have seemed to have reversed polarity.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I need to reconstruct I need to basically get some glue because 2 of the things fell off, and then I need to, do some other stuff. Yep. Did you hear my Star Wars stuff?
No.
Oh man, we'll go over it some other time.
Okay.
I found my diary from when I was a kid, from like middle school.
Oh. Wow.
And I have a lot of thoughts about Star Wars.
From middle school?
I said I am so obsessed with Han Solo after watching Empire Strikes Back that I have decided to go and kill Billy D. Williams. Like some real Travis Bickle shit right here.
Why? Why kill him?
Because of what happened in Empire Strikes Back.
Because he betrayed him?
Yeah. Oh. But like I clearly knew the difference between Han Solo and like Harrison Ford, so yeah. It was a weird note. And then in here, guys, we have so much other stuff. So, but Eric, let's catch up with what you've been doing.
Working very hard, like usual. And yeah, I'm glad people seem to enjoy the match. And
people really did enjoy that match. Yeah. I don't want to spoil for anyone who doesn't have. That was pretty cool. By the way, Daney Crowley, thank you for saying that. Yeah, this doll, both VideoDrew creatures have been created by Heather Sabian, Viking BB. I think it has like 9 faces, but I need to get some hot glue to make the faces better. She's an amazing artist. She's also did that VideoDrew, like the leather sculpture of VideoDrew that I've been using a lot. This one might be my favorite face. But I think that like art is one of these things that I could never really consider myself an artist. So to have like VideoDrew have like fan art that's like tangible and like and puppets, and it's just sort of like, to me, this is like the happiest kind of like fandom I could have. So if you have any VideoDrew inspired art or stuff that you want to make, nothing is too much for me.
Nothing is off limits.
Yeah, just please don't call me.
Yeah.
But no, people seem to love the match. People, and I don't want to spoil too much. Has everyone seen the match? Just wait a second. What are you laughing at?
It's just it's a funny question to pose like immediately.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it.
Wait for everyone to respond.
Let me put it another way. Would it be spoiling anything to talk about the match?
I feel like I saw most people here in the chat.
Let's see. Eric, you're an amazing talent. Yeah, Chronic for Chronic.
Hey, Ron.
There's also Vodka in them. Yeah, Lon, what were the two movies that involved Dan Aykroyd showing up and also there being vodka skull stuff? It wasn't Get On Up, which didn't have the skull vodka, but it was another one before that. Talk about it. I definitely watched. Yeah, okay, I'll talk about it. I was very nervous going in about character work. That was the main thing because I know it's a really hard needle to thread right now between wanting to, VideoDrew is so much a force of nature. Like that's what she is. Like she's got to have her stuff going on, and I needed to temper that though with the knowledge that these digital matches are different, and they've been really, and even from Eric's perspective, it's really really hard to cut around people who are talking over each other, who are like talking during the questions, who are trying to do too much sticky banter that would have worked in a live studio, but doesn't work when people's audio connections are bad, when there's delays. And so I defaulted to the VideoDrew prompt of talk less, smile more. So I just decided to do that. And I feel like it did. I know how people say, other people's character work got in the way of their gameplay. I feel like in a way my gameplay got in the way of my character work because I'm here to entertain people. Winning movie trivia contests is a way for me to advance to another way where I can keep being entertaining to people. Mm-hmm. And I do take this, and this season I definitely did prioritize the learning and training and stuff way more than I try to promote the VideoDrew thing. Yeah. And I think in this match particularly, I come off as weird. I come off as kooky. But I think what I was trying to say in the promo was there's been a lot of weird, kooky, fun characters who are probably, who honestly, Guy, Tom, Lon, they've been doing better character work than me. And and especially for Guy and Tom, they're doing a better version of the VideoDrew thing. I can't be crazier than Guy, was crazy. So VideoDrew had to take a different tack. And it was sort of this idea that, okay, she's going to be mellow. She's going to be low key. She's going to be a little bit worried about everyone else's, how they're doing. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go too hard on Riley, who's a really great person. It wasn't going to be a good look. I think the balance I struck there was really good, but it's hard to be I'm weird. Everyone knows I'm weird, but how many weird things can I convey? And to me, in Eric's, all credit to Eric. There was a lot of people have been mentioning. It seemed like a really tough edit. It seemed like you did an amazing job editing around some stuff. I don't know any particular instances they were talking about, but I'm assuming the good edits that you've had with the Mark. What's fear even? Yeah. And then cutting back to where's Tom?
Yeah, which is, to be fair though, that's an edit that is not supposed to be noticed. So thankfully, I don't think anyone did notice that.
Oh no, but they did. But they noticed it in a great way. The Adams brothers, I think, noticed it. They were they're oh, that's a cool edit, or that's a good edit. Maybe not. Anyway, the fact is, it was a tough match. Probably not the toughest we've had to edit around, but it wasn't a pay-per-view one, so you couldn't you didn't have to worry about oh well, it happened. You had to edit around some certain difficulties in it, yes. Including, and this is not going to be breaking news because I explained in the Cinefanax show, but I did not that my 5-pointer. I did not give an answer. I asked for a JTE that I didn't have, and it was really sloppy. And then I argued my way through the whole thing about wait, no, I didn't use my last JTE. When I very clearly rewatching the tape, I'm final JTE. Yeah. But I didn't think about that in the moment, and I was just no. I was going back and forth in my head between Jackie Brown, which I'd never seen because I'm a monster, and Pulp Fiction. And by process of elimination, I kind of figured out that it wasn't Pulp Fiction. But instead of just blurting Jackie Brown like I should have, I asked for a JT that didn't exist. And then I talked over the whole "and your winner is," which makes it for like an impossible edit. So I lost. That's the full end of the story. Like I lost, but I lost in a really ugly, sloppy way that would have made for like made for terrible, like it wouldn't have been workable.
Yeah.
So afterwards, when we were discussing it, they were like, "Well, what are you gonna say?" And I said, "I don't know, man. Like I'm thinking Pulp Fiction. I was trying to go through my head chronologically, blah blah." And they were like, "Okay, so let's do a redo, so it doesn't look like sloppy on you, and you don't look bad that where you just say Pulp Fiction." And that's hard because I knew by that point it wasn't Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And so that was like a hard pill to swallow, but I think one that ultimately is it's a better service than for me, because I think that makes me look better than asking for a JTE that I didn't have and I clearly knew I didn't have.
Yeah.
And then it would have just been me arguing about it. And B, like, I think it goes in better service of the game. I got the wrong answer. I lost. He won.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, he won by me losing.
Yes.
And it kind of like makes me feel bad, because I know there's a lot of people out there, my mom included, who are like, "Do you know that that's not the end of Pulp Fiction?" And I'm like, I know it's not the end of Pulp Fiction. It's an embarrassing one to lose on. The 2 and 3s were like not as embarrassing because they were harder.
Yeah,
I feel like they were. Yeah, my 2 and 3s were like weirdly hard, but it's because I overthought some questions. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, I mean, that was my big sort of behind the scenes moment, was that I like made a whoopsie.
Yeah.
A miscalculation that, in retrospect, was exactly right. It would have been worse to play that ending where I'm just not using a GT. Like, it would have come off as so much sloppy. Pixels, yeah, that was the thing. Pixels. There was a skull beaten Pixels. I think it's probably also in Indiana Jones 4. I mean, turns out if you're going to get Dan Aykroyd to be in your movie, you have to have skull vodka.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
Vodka from a skull?
Oh, you don't know about... Oh, my God. So Dan Aykroyd is crazy. He believes in a lot of aliens. He believes a lot of conspiracy stuff. He also believed the aliens like built the pyramids, that kind of stuff. He has this thing called skull vodka, which is sort of the embodiment of crystal skull vodka. Right? This came out before the Indiana Jones movie, I believe. It's just his embodiment of all his belief systems distilled into a crazy vodka that has like a crystal skull shape. And in the movie Pixels, at one point, I forget what role Dan Aykroyd had in Pixels, but at one point in Pixels, because Dan Aykroyd made a 5-second cameo, Michelle Monaghan turns to Adam Sandler. She's like, "We should drink something a little bit stronger," and just pulls out this crystal skull vodka. And there's a whole video on like YouTube of just Dan Aykroyd professing the intrinsic value of crystal skull vodka. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing. It's like people who believe that the pyramids were built by aliens also believe in crystal skulls. Yeah. That's a 1-to-1. There was a Peep Show beat about that once where she's like, "No, all the other stuff, Mock, that's all like ridiculous, like nonsense. But you gotta tell me you believe in the crystal skulls, Mark." And he's like, "Please don't make me say it." And she goes, she goes, "Could you have made that?" He goes, "No." She goes, "Could anyone?" He goes, "Yes." And she goes, "Crystal skulls. I mean, the rest are all trash, Mark, but you've got to say you believe in the crystal skulls." Yes, like it's created by the aliens. They're given as technology to the Aztecs, and Mark's just going, "Oh, forgive me, science. Forgive me, logic. I believe in the crystal skulls." He's the MC of the video game championships. Oh yeah, that's right. 2 points. So, guys, I want honest feedback on this. How do you? This was not my greatest showing. It was not my greatest showing. Did you get those 2, 3, and 5s? The 5 I feel like a lot of people got. But those 2 and 3s, the one that was about did you get the James Bond one that I should have gotten by not overthinking it? Did you get the Tomb Raider one, which was what James Bond actor starred in an Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider as this character? I had seen that movie in theaters. I remember thinking, that guy is way too old for her, and he's got no charisma. And he dies in a very, like, hoisted on his own petard way, where he double crosses her, I believe. And then, like, he tries to steal something, like Indiana Jones style. He tries to steal something from her, and then he gets killed. So I was like, in my head, I overthought the James Bond thing. If I was thinking about if I was thinking about just actors who played James Bond, I would have gotten to Daniel Craig, no problem, because it was somebody who was not famous at the time, and Pierce Brosnan would have been. So I would have gotten to Daniel Craig. I overthought it and thought, who dies in every single movie in that fashion and is not that attractive and seems older than Angelina was? So I went for Sean Bean. That's where my head was at. That, and I can hold my head high for not remembering that, because this is before Daniel Craig did anything. Like, he wasn't in Layer Cake yet. Like, this was just an unknown actor who I saw in the theaters. Olympus Has Fallen for the 5-pointer, or sorry, Angel Has Fallen. Yeah, I mean, that sucked. It definitely, like, I took that JTE, like, I took that extra JT, my final JT, to even get to Olympus Has Fallen, because I didn't want to get to the wrong franchise.
Yeah.
I knew kind of that was the wrong one, but I figured I could hold my head up high and just say I got to the right franchise. If I had taken that JT and saved it for the end, different story. You know, different. Might have ended up differently. But you can only woulda, coulda, shoulda, coulda. Like, I don't mind myself for missing Joe Pesci, because I definitely been like, man, I should watch Lethal Weapon. What are the main guys in Lethal Weapon? And I just kept forgetting to. So Danny has a question. How has the manager and team aspect been for you this season? I thought you and Kaiser's back and forth was pretty funny, as opposed to normal pep talk we get constantly. Just curious, thanks. That was mostly code. I'm serious. That was mostly code. That was mostly us talking in a code that we developed from Twin Peaks. What we were saying to each other was not really relevant. It was more the fact that we had developed, like, a little beforehand. We developed a little bit of a communication style about how we wanted things to proceed. And I think the only time that kind of, like, didn't work a little bit was, like, the Mel Brooks thing, because, like, it was very clear that, like, he was like, you should spin again. And I'm like, no, because the wheel, sorry, I'm, like, taking it over like this, but but the wheel was,
been handling it, so I'm not going to cut you off now.
So, like, the wheel, yeah, exactly. I saw that movie, and Daniel Craig was not anybody, and certainly never revisited since. But Sean Bean was a great guess on my part. People have been saying the round one questions were harder than usual. I'm not sure if the Paranorman one seems to have tripped people up, I think, just by the way it was phrased, but it was a totally accurate and fine question.
Yeah.
I
say so. I know Mark missed the Allison Williams,
which is crazy.
One, but I do feel like that's, like,
hard.
Like, it's a little bit on the harder side, a little more difficult, just because she's not, like, a huge, like, household name of, like, horror.
See, but here's the thing. Yes, we were going over this in the Cinefanatics thing, which is sort of like, if you name, it's hard to name people in Get Out, even though it seems like so big. But I'm like, no, it's not. It's like Daniel Kaluuya, it's Lakeith Stanfield, it's Bradley Whitford, it's Catherine Keener, and it's, like, Allison Williams, and it's even the son, who's played by, what's his name? 3 names. Caleb Landry Jones. Love that guy. Love Caleb Landry Jones. Like, love him. So, like, everyone in that movie is identifiable to me. I also was a big fan of, like, Girls. And this was, like, the Allison. I also knew that, like, I'd met her a couple times, and Brian Williams from NBC, famous news guy, is his daughter. So I knew from contextual stuff. Is it the easiest question to ask about, like, a horror movie? No, I guess if you haven't seen Allison Williams in anything else.
Yeah, I just think, so, like, the previous day, which is the previous match before you, which was the horror question in that round one, was what film franchise has the installment of Army of Darkness? It's like
Third.
No, what's the franchise?
Oh, the franchise is called
Evil
Dead.
So the Army of Darkness belongs to what film franchise?
Evil Dead.
Yeah. So it's like that, compared to, like, who plays, like, the girlfriend in Get Out. Like, I do think that's, like, Allison Williams is a little bit more difficult, because she's like, she hasn't done, like, a lot of, like, films.
But she is sort of this. But this was a zeitgeisty movie. This was a thing where she was, in that moment, part of this huge zeitgeist, because this was, like, her doing Girls. This was, like, the definition of this white chick sort of like having this, how can I put it, like, her and Bradley Whitford playing these kind of characters was sort of leading into these preconceived notions that we had of them as actors.
I also don't think she's probably that well known from Girls either, if you ask me. Like, if you ask me, she's not, like, I don't think Girls made her, like, a household name in any sense.
Maybe not, but we're talking about film stuff, not household name stuff. Like, it was the hugest movie, like, for horror, like, in the horror realm of that year. I'm not saying that it's an easy question. I'm just saying I thought he would know it.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
it's a hard pull. If it had been any other movie, I might have had a hard time pulling the actress, but like that one, not particularly.
Yeah.
Then again, I didn't know Joe Pesci. Like I didn't know Paranorman. Did I miss another one?
Just one more.
Yeah, what was it?
What was it? It was
Guys.
not Aquafina.
Aquafina. Did you see what he spelled?
The,
Aquafina.
it was the sixth day.
The sixth day.
Or the ninth.
The sixth day. No, he was very close with the ninth day.
Yeah.
I had Total Recall. That was a hard one. Then we get into horror 5-way. This is why I think horror 5-way, but it shouldn't be like anyone else. It should just be me and Riley because we're comps.
A horror 5-way between the two of you.
Horror 5 between the two of us. Here's the thing: is like me and Riley have both played in the horror exhibition matches in different years. We both came in last place, but I think that like we both could do really well against each other. So I got a perfect round. I think we were the score was tight going.
You both are 5-5.
5-5. Sucks, but it's not sucks, but like it's not as good as I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we're still equal.
Yes.
Round 2, I look at the wheel, and I'm like, not great, Bob. Like that reboots and remake category, I've been thinking about for a while now, and I've been thinking that could be anything. Like they could ask you anything about either movie, or like, you know, how many Oscars did the original get? How many Oscars did the remake get? Like it could be anything. Denzel was on there. They clearly did their studying as far as watching one match where we got Denzel on the board, and it was not a great showing for us.
Yeah.
But it was the kind of thing where I'm not sure how much they thought about what that would look like if they got it for themselves. Because Denzel's been in a ton of movies. Mark did really, really well considering the questions. The only one that he missed that I got a point on was Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten that if he had gotten multiple choice. I wouldn't have been able to answer most of those Denzel questions without multiple choice. And he did really good. However, they were the pretty big name Denzel movies.
Yeah.
Then I get to Mel Brooks, and I get 2 movies that Mel Brooks directed.
Yeah.
And then the 2 other movies are just movies that Mel Brooks is in, which is fair and something I might have considered had I thought about Clint Eastwood or Tom Hanks or like some of these other people we say as like actors or directors, but they actually go on both lines. So it's really fair to ask about their acting roles.
Yeah.
So I get that great Madeline Kahn pool. Hang on, high five.
Great.
I was like, high anxiety, Madeline Kahn pool. Got it, nailed it, impressive. That one steal. So even though I didn't know Little Rascals and I had to go to multiple choice on Christopher Lloyd, but I just kind of figured that one out. I failed figuring out who Christopher Lloyd associated with in those days, and it was like Madeline Kahn was involved. Like this is again a movie. To Be or Not to Be is not a movie that was directed by Mel Brooks. He produced it, but it was starring him.
Yes.
So 2 of the divorce questions, like I feel like if I'd gotten more Mel Brooks movie questions, I might have been able to dominate a little bit harder, like Spaceballs, History of the World. I knew that 5-pointer that Schneider got about who was the narrator or Spaceballs. Yeah. Hey, Eric and Drew. Hey, Jeremy Miller.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hello, Jeremy. Yeah, I do think that this thing that we were talking about, it was like mostly not even in code. It was just us talking Twin Peaks. We were doing this sort of like inner Twin Peaks references, and that's why Kaiser was saying some silly things that probably people just thought were nonsense. That's why I was doing some silly things. But we had worked out certain codes for what we want to do, say without giving stuff away about if I liked something, if I didn't like something, if how we thought things were going. We thought and planned a little bit ahead of time, which was fun for me. Hey, let's see. He's the MC of the Video Game Championships. So how has the manager and team aspect been for you this season? I gotta say, I really love it. You guys know my thoughts. I really want to be a manager. I think I'd be a great manager. I think there's other people that are players that could also make fantastic managers, like Roca or Adam Witt. Especially Adam. So I'm not sure if I'm. I want to be a manager, but I don't know if I'm would even put myself in first place in terms of managerial skills. I just think I'm really good at it, but we'll see. Let's see. I adore Kaiser. Eagerly for that producer's question. Hey, producers, I was looking for something that like would be a really deep cut. I was looking for anxieties. I was looking for questions about history of the world. I was looking for Spaceballs, but I was also looking for Blazing Saddles. I was looking for Young Frankenstein. You know, it didn't even occur to me that they could be questions about movies that he didn't direct. But fair enough. I played with the Cinefanatics, and the moment came on about where do you play Mr. Wilson, or was it Mr. Wilson? That would have been Dennis the Menace. Well, anyway, he did Mr. Wilson. They said immediately Little Rascals. So I wasn't even looking for anything. It more was like, if I managed Lon, that would be amazing. I mean, if I got to manage Lon and Tom, and that was just the name of the team, yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, guys, that's sort of my walking through process of the stuff I got wrong. I wouldn't have been able to pick up his Denzel, and he wasn't able to pick up my Little Rascals, so that let me in with a 1-point lead going into round 3, which everyone thought, Gucci at least thought, was going to be a TKO or KO.
Yeah.
He had to answer his 2. Forget what the question was.
His 2-pointer?
Yeah. I don't remember it. I feel like I definitely knew it. It was only something that was like knowable. Not that my James Bond question, if I had paid attention to it, wasn't knowable, because it was asking for James Bond actor, somebody who has been James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've asked things about producers and stuff. This isn't about the producer role, though. This wasn't about Mel Brooks as a producer. This was about Mel Brooks acting in roles, and that's totally fair. Clint Eastwood has a board slice. It's under actors or directors, but like you can ask as much as you want about his director credits, actor credits. So that's totally doable. Tom Hanks has also directed a few movies, right? So you're allowed to bring those up. What was the movie where he was a rich guy that had to live as a homeless person? Which one? Joe Pesci? The Tenant. Yeah, the Landlord? No, it was called not The Tenant. It was called the Super. The Super. Yeah. That was Joe Pesci. I'm not sure if they've asked that.
Oh yeah, Puss in Boots appeared in which Shrek film?
Oh yeah, so Puss in Boots in what Shrek film? Number 2. What would I have to say?
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm done when there's Narnia mess up, so I've been like too furious. So it was my game to lose. It felt like it was a very passive win, because he just basically needed to hit his 2, and then I just lost the game for myself. And that sucks, but I do feel like I did show something, which was my main point to show this entire game, which is like, we talk about so many female competitors being overhyped, overrated, and then we just kind of assume, just without question, that other players like that are on Mount Rushmore. Yeah. My point here was like, some of these players are not overrated so much as equatable to some of these others you're not even bothering to rate. Yeah. And Mark was a great sport. He was a great guy about this entire match. I have nothing bad to say about him. I think he's a true, and this is actually something I'm coming around about after having played him. It's so hard to just be a nice, like, good competitor and not try to like do any tricks or not try to like pull any stuff. It's way harder than I gave it credit for before I started playing that match, because it could have gotten really dirty, and we could have been spicy and salty at each other. It could have gone a lot of different ways, but he was like nothing if not like a gentleman, and like there was no moment on either side where there was going to be a challenge. Someone else noticed that, like, the delay made it so he asked for a repeat, after one happened, but like Christian was very clear that was something that was going to like not be accepted, nor did particularly want to challenge something like that. Yeah, that's not the kind of challenges I want to make. So the 2 Utes.
We should do my
Yes. Interesting question. Was my match filmed for Liz and Rachel when Liz got SNL? It was filmed.
Your match was filmed after. However, that doesn't really pertain to anything.
Yeah, because no one could see it.
No one. The matches are private. Competitors do not watch matches as they're being filmed. So.
Yeah. So there's like no way that that Riley could have known that Liz Shannon Miller match went that way.
Yeah.
Because there actually are some deep cuts in SNL, and it's totally fair that that was maybe Liz was getting different kinds of questions that would be brought up now. I feel like Mel Brooks probably had an easier thing of questions. I mean, it really Kaiser wanted me to spin away. I think it was pretty clear, and I was just looking at that board, and I was thinking that's not looking great for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they had already taken Denzel off the board for me, like, so they'd done me that service, that mitzvah. But like, what could I have gotten that was better? And I'm not saying answer out loud, but like, what could I have gotten that like wouldn't have been more blowout?
Yeah.
Reboots and remakes is the only one that could have maybe worked, but it could have also just been a shit show. Yeah. I love how Riley was much more scared of you, even though he loves horror movies. That was my other big thing that I wanted to do in this match. I wanted to prove. What did I say beforehand? I was like, I want to make Mark Riley question whether he actually even loves horror movies. I want to be unsettling in a way of an Ari Aster film. I want to give him a deep, unsettled sense of maybe he doesn't like horror movies.
Yeah.
I wanted to, we did that. Let's see. I didn't study Mel Brooks. I like Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
I like Mel Brooks movies a lot. What was the other one? The Men in Tights one was very easy, but for me.
Yes,
But the spelling wasn't?
It's usually like a toss-up question in the round twos, right? Something that you should be gettable.
Would you have gotten Madeline Kahn?
No, I definitely would have gotten.
Would any of you have gotten Madeline Kahn as the poll?
Madeline Kahn, High Anxiety. It's a good one.
Well, that one I haven't seen High Anxiety in a while, but you can literally just go through the list of who does he work with for like, who does Mel Brooks work with a lot, especially in those early days. And like Madeline Kahn was a huge one. Like, and I know that she wasn't the main star of Young Frankenstein, and I knew she starred as the main chick in some of the others. So Madeline Kahn. Hey, Jack Yakavetta.
Jack.
Jake, what would you make? I said Jake. Let's see. What I missed? We've just been going over the match today. We're sort of doing it a little bit differently.
Yeah. A little Q&A before we do a quiz tonight.
Yeah, we can do it. Let's see. It's easy to play along. Let's see. Admittedly, with how much I could find it easy for him to play along very well. Yeah. What did I miss? So yeah, we're just talking about that. It seems a few of us joined at the same time. Hey Peggy. Hey PC. So yeah, I do want to ask you guys. It was very Fight Clubby.
I'm not here.
Okay, I'm Jack's total lack of self-awareness. That was not Jeremy Miller. I'm so glad you brought this up. That was not the issue with the problem. The problem was I got as far as saying I've never seen any of those movies. I was like, is it White House Down? Is it those movies or is it the other movies? And I was really game. That's why I took my extra and final JTE, which maybe I shouldn't have gotten because I should have just been like, whatever, Fallen, something. I was never going to get Angel because I watched the trailer for that movie and was like, oh, it's part of that franchise I've never seen. I was proud of myself for getting Olympus Has Fallen. So it's not like I was going between two different movies. I was going between the two franchises, and I ended up on the right franchise. So no shame there for my thing. My 2 and 3, I'm not that ashamed of. My 5 was a different story.
Yes. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, Becky.
She says, "See so much." I tell you, Peggy, did everyone jump off some other stream?
Yeah, it looks like.
Now it's like jumping in here now.
Who's Ben? Where's Ben? Is there a Ben here? Which Ben?
Where's Ben?
So I think it's just the 5 kills me. It really does. I'm not gonna lie. The 5 kills me. I think if I had known, I've already explained it. Like that was a little bit of a mess up on my part that they luckily gave me the ability to reshoot, because what happened was not that I said Pulp Fiction. What happened was I waited to the last second, asked for the final JTE. You can hear me in the last question saying final JTE. They were like, you don't have any JTEs left. The game is over. So Mark had won. Mark had won because I stupidly wasn't counting JTEs. I was using them to go back and forth in my head, the time to go back and forth. Pulp Fiction, because it's a 5-pointer, right? So I was thinking, Pulp Fiction, are they trying to mess with me a little bit by saying the final, the end of the film? But are they talking about the chronological ending, which is like Butch, and maybe Butch was mentioning going to Madrid? I was thinking, did Jules ever mention it? I just thought it couldn't be as easy as a character having said that. There was only one Tarantino movie I have not seen, which is Jackie Brown, and I was just going through the list in my head of taking off every other movie because the process of elimination, there could be no other movie where a character could reasonably be expected to be able to go to Madrid.
Yes.
You know, like Inglourious Bastards, maybe, but they weren't going to Madrid. Like The Hateful Eight, can't go anywhere. Reservoir Dogs, who's he going to talk to? Like, it's with Buscemi ain't going to Madrid.
So say if I didn't know anything about like Tarantino films and I had to guess like based off of just like the general plots, I would say it like Pulp Fiction's definitely up there as a possibility. Of all the ones he has, possibly Kill Bill, you know, Volume 2. Like if she
Kill Bill never crossed my mind. That's so funny.
Yeah. She could say she's going to somewhere.
That's what the Symphoniac said. Is at the end, doesn't she say she's taking her daughter to Madrid?
No, she didn't say anything.
Yeah. That's the thing. There's only one movie where they say it, but by process of elimination, I got there to Jackie Brown. I was there. I was just using that extra couple seconds in what I thought was going to be a JTE to double check. Had I known, I just needed to blur down the answer. New sponsor.
What was a sponsor?
I don't know. I got a new sponsor. PC has become a member. Oh, that's cool as hell.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, a new member. I think it's figure it out. But Jackie Brown's
Thanks, PC.
Thanks, PC. That's the other thing that just really sucks because like that's the one Tarantino movie I haven't watched. It's problematic that I haven't seen it.
And you were like on the verge of seeing it.
I was going to see it the night before.
Yeah.
It hits me in a darker place because when we did the reshoot for it, because they were like, it's not going to look great for you just to ask for JT and for to lose that way. And like, were you going to say Pulp Fiction? Because I mentioned after the match, I was like, was it? And I was like, well, I was going back and forth, and you know, it was just, oh, thanks, PC.
So when will you watch Jackie Brown?
Great question. PC's asking when will I watch Jackie Brown? Like honestly, it should be my thing right now. It just should like my Facebook, like what I'm doing right now should just be watching Jackie Brown. I have no excuse for not having seen that movie. It was one of the easier 5-pointers I think they've given this season, if not like in a really, really long time. Not since Contagion. I think probably has there been that easy of a 5-pointer. Because it's literally like he has 9 films. They're asking you to name one of them, and the question isn't that baroque or like that esoteric. It's like a character says this over the course of the film at the end. I could have just picked the one I haven't seen by process of elimination. Yep. It's a Tarantino, something I know a lot about. I probably could have answered a lot more 5-pointers on Tarantino.
Mm-hmm. You could. Would you have gotten Roka's 5-pointer from last year?
Apple cigarettes.
Red Apple.
Red Apple. Yeah. Well, not only that, but since we've been doing VideoChronic quizzes, I would have gotten a lot of the Pulp Fiction, a lot of the Kill Bill. Just going over these things and doing the 5-pointers where the VideoChronic stuff helps. Right?
We just didn't do Jackie Brown.
Well, not only that, but like I should have just gone back and thought about like, would you have put Madrid on the list of things that ever came up in Pulp Fiction, and you didn't. And I know I'm going to hear shit from Snyder about this. Mm-hmm. I know I'm going to get stuff. So that's the one that broke me, honestly, because we had to redo it, and it sucks, and I got it wrong, and like either way, Mark wins. Yeah. But like it wasn't him winning; it was me losing. Yeah. And I really think that him and Perry going up face to face is going to be awesome. I'm hoping hard. And
it'll be fun for them. You know, it's a Collider Live reunion.
Yeah.
Not Collider Live, movie talk.
It's a movie talk reunion. But I also think me and Perry going head to head would have been pretty freaking cool too.
Yeah, would have been another opportunity for some horror action.
Yeah. I can't imagine how Alex was feeling when you got Tarantino. How much he hates him. I mean, Alex Matt maybe. Oh yeah, considering Pulp Fiction. Yeah. Yeah, Jules is going to walk the earth. He could theoretically start with Madrid. But honestly, that wasn't even where my mind was going on. My mind went to, it's a 5-pointer. It can't be as easy as a character said this at the end of the film. What they must have done is been doing a chronological ending. So what they were asking was a trick question, which is, what was Butch saying at the chronological end of the movie? Not the actual end, but what was he saying? He was getting his stuff ready about where they were going to fly off to. And I thought maybe that was it. But honestly, my real thought was Jackie Brown. And I still am to this day in the toss-up. It would have looked worse for me to say nothing and ask for that JTE, but at the same time, I wouldn't have answered something that like I knew to be wrong. So it's hard, and I'm glad that you guys went the way that you did with it. I'm glad that that was a reshoot, but it does really feel like a embarrassing one. Yeah, because it was the easier 5-pointer was easier than the 2 or 3. Yeah. And what about some of the 5-pointers been recently that have just been like insane? Like everyone else has gotten these insane 5-pointers.
They've been some tricky 5-pointers.
Yeah.
I'd say, Whitney's was basically like described the characters in the plot of the apartment. It's like, what film is this? And he got that immediately. That's Whitney's thing, obviously.
Yeah. That wouldn't be a Tarantino movie though. He just did that segment. I guess you know what I could have asked is I could have messed myself even more by going Quentin Tarantino. Is they directed movies or does it say Quentin Tarantino movies, which could have opened up to Natural Born Killers, True Romance, and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I can't recall if they ever asked a written Tarantino film question, written by Tarantino.
But it's still a Tarantino, right?
Yeah.
Like Natural Born Killer, but that takes off the table. Natural Born Killers, they ain't going anywhere. True Romance, they could have gone off to somewhere, but why Madrid? And what was the other one? From Dusk Till Dawn? Not going to Madrid. They're going to Mexico.
Okay. They're going to El Rey.
NerdChronic stays killing the. Yeah, it's so good.
Thank you, Zeta.
You know what? It could have been Steve Buscemi at the end of a Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. But they say at the end, not like who got away with it. They're saying at the end of the movie.
Yeah, at the end of Reservoir Dogs, everyone's dead. He just says to himself, I'm going to Madrid.
Yeah. Also, you have to think about that. Yeah. Who says out loud? It's not like she might have been going there at the end of Kill Bill. Maybe she's looking at flight receipts, but she doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to Madrid.
Yeah, that's why I still think out of all the ones, I think Pulp Fiction is like, if you're not going to know the answer, Pulp Fiction is like the best second estimated guess because Jules, like the one says, specifically says, I'm going to walk the earth. I'm going to go travel. So like he verbally says to the character that he's going to be away afar. Honestly,
at that moment I was like, I don't remember the end of Pulp Fiction. What I remember though is that this is a 5-pointer.
Yeah.
And they're asking about the end of a movie, but this is a movie that plays around with like it could have been like the end of the story. Like this is a movie that's playing around with the concept of what the end is. And the end is dead baby riding off in the sun. The end chronologically is Bruce Willis. Yeah. So I overthought it, I guess. I'm beating myself up for a while about that. I think it was a close game. It was mine to lose, and I respect Mark a lot. And after this, I respect him even more because he ate a lot of poop at this match. I've never seen anything like that where like the post interview isn't about like how I just tanked these 2, 3, and 5s, but they were like being down on the winner for like not doing his best. Yeah. And by the way, he could have scored much higher. We don't know because he never got his 3 and 5. Yeah. He could have he could have just killed it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe, hey Adam, have a great night. About to crash out. Mad tired right now. Great game. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, you guys. I really thought after this match I was going to get a lot of hate. Like I thought a lot of people were going to be mad at me and feel like what the hell. I thought I was going to get, the typical woman on the internet response.
Yeah, everyone really enjoyed the show.
Yeah. I think hopefully I still put on a good show. I've been staying my butt off. This was I'm not proud of my performance, but I'm really happy that like I could bring some VideoDrew back and people really enjoyed it. I also get I made that little comment again about not being overrated, but it really does help me a lot of these situations that no one is like coming into this being like, Drew, you know so much about movies, like how dare you?
Yeah. I saw people in the live chat, like Drew's dropping straight facts. Yeah.
But like this funny thing to say. I can never hate you, Drew. You're too awesome. Thank you. I mean, or just even being disappointed or being like, oh, like Drew, like not great showing. You should have tried harder. It was yours to lose.
That match wasn't quite my tempo.
That is true. For Eric, that match wasn't quite his tempo. I know that came from a personal place. Yeah, but the thing is, here's the thing. If fans didn't love the Looney last season, you would get unnecessary hate. Glad it didn't happen. People loved the Looney Bin. But people knew I was getting carried during the Looney Bin. So like I expect a lot more of like, well, this is exactly it. This is what the whole dynamic was. It was like Tom did a good job and Drew couldn't.
I think it was a good balance. I think it was a good balance of like people, the cultural like consensus right now is people are thinking like, does Riley still have it? Like, can he perform well? like like he thinks he wants to and stuff like that. And then on the opposite side of that is people saying like can Drew perform well without Tom. So it's like a lot of like ifs and people eager to see how this shakes out between the two of you.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good balance of like people like eager to see kind of like how this whole thing plays out.
And look, going into, and I hate what I did in round 3, but going into it, I was winning by 1 point, but I was ahead.
Yep.
And that was not doing so great in round 1 and really feeling my way around 2. And Denzel seemed to be a strength of Riley's that he was going for. I would not have gotten that. I wouldn't have gotten Peter Sarsgaard if they hadn't gone to multiple and for me to realize in the multiple choice. If it wasn't Alex, then it must be the person whose like name sounded like Alex.
Yeah.
Like the Skarsgård thing was a hint. I wouldn't have gotten it. Same with the and that was like him going multiple. So look, I also feel like the VideoDrew energy plays differently online, but I see a lot of people loving that. So all I can say is like I'm really appreciative to this fan base. Like I get a lot of it. I feel like a lot of people don't get the privilege of getting.
And yeah, and as I said, I didn't do it, but I think I was a little hard.
Yeah, people were really hard on him. People were treating it like how dare you even get that close to losing against this.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ring rust. I think it's comp to where Riley is. I don't understand like why that would be like how dare you get that. First of all, he never got a chance to get higher points because I waffled my 2, 3, and 5, so he never got a chance to get that score higher. You know, like they're acting as if because I lost the 2, 3, and 5, that's as good as Riley could have done.
Yeah,
he could have done better.
If you hit your 5, like he could have had the opportunity to hit his 3 and his 5 and get like a score higher than like what 17.
Yeah, like if I hit my 2
Ish.
and it bounced back to Riley, he could have hit his 3 and 5 and would force the hand back. You know, like
so like yeah, like he good high score, good like 17, 18 points, whatever.
I mean, the Denzel stuff, which is again not the easiest stuff in the world, he only had 1 miss.
Yeah.
He went to multiple choice, and I think he really did know the answer about Malcolm X, but he was getting confused about the phrasing of it, which is his first lead actor nomination. He clearly, by the time he went to multiple choice, he knew the answer. Denzel is the hardest category to study for because the man's done 50 films, you know, and you can ask anything about those 50 films.
And a lot of those films, like a good majority of those films, were well received and well, critically acclaimed, and so like the majority of films are like named films that people enjoy. So like you can ask like a lot of contextual questions about them. You know, when we got it,
it was a lot of like, you know, was it Flight? Was that movie called Flight Plan? Flight, yeah. And it was like who plays his drug dealer in Flight?
Exactly. Yeah.
And did a lot of people love Flight?
Yeah, people Flight got some acclaim. Yeah. Okay.
There was a question where the multiple answer was Fallen, one of mine.
Yeah.
That we figured out like Equalizer. Look, there's 50 movies, and you can ask. You know, the Oscar stuff gets hard because he was nominated so many times for different things. There's just so much to ask. I think it's a dangerous category to put on the wheel if you're just doing it to screw with your opponent because they know that you didn't do well with it last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's an interesting strategy. I wish I'd like been in their brains when they were trying to figure out what to do. Like, I wonder if Mark studied up a lot on Denzel because he was like, I need to put it on the board because it's her weakness, instead of just assuming a lot of things are my weakness and then not making yourself do extra studying. Roman J. Esquire. I didn't expect you to take Mel Brooks, Christopher. Well, look, we can go back to the board with the wheel was. It was Spielberg. Not gonna take that and risk Mark getting some steals on me in case I just don't know Spielberg's out well. Remakes and reboots, impossible to like game out because it's a new category, and so many movies in the world are remakes and reboots, and they could ask you literally anything about either the original film or the new one. So they could ask you about like Gus Van Sant's Psycho, or they could ask you how many things were happening in the original Psycho, or what that was up for in terms of Oscars and. Yeah. There's so many movies you don't even realize reboots and remakes. Like, there's just so many. Mm-hmm. This was based on a Turkish film by the same name. Like, they're asking you about Hannige's like Funny Games or something.
Shit.
Like, you just don't know. It's too big of a risk. Then you had disaster films. Not something I super love because they make me upset. Although right now I'm really leaning on them for apocalypse doomsday themed content. I don't even know what qualifies as a disaster film anymore. I'd challenge everything probably if I'd gotten that category and been like, not disaster compared to what we're doing. So just not disaster. Contagion, not disaster film. Fallen scares the bejesus out of me, and after I ran to my car and was scared, terrified of humans. Fallen is like one of those ones that I could have gotten every single answer right had they asked any Denzel Fallen questions, because that's the one where they do that song like "Time is on my side," and whenever he's a shape-shifting serial killer, or sorry, he's a ghost serial killer that can go into your consciousness.
Yeah.
And so Denzel is infected with him. John Goodman, who's his partner, is infected by him. At the end, you think Denzel wins, and then you watch him like walk out of the movie or walk out of the scene of the crime, and he's just whistling "Time is on my side," and you're like, "Yes, great." That's probably one of the ones I remember better. What would you say my strongest category is? I don't think it's like any surprise. This is not giving anything away, and I'm like totally okay with saying this. Horror.
Yeah.
Horror is my strongest category. Like, I didn't do great in the exhibition match 2 years ago, but if you guys have the ability to watch it on Patreon, the questions were ludicrous. They were ludicrously hard, and I respected them so much. Clark Wolf and Draco wrote them, but it was like these questions about like obscure horror movies that like I actually knew, but I just couldn't pull certain things up.
Yeah, if you watch that horror match from last year compared to the one this year, like it's like ridiculously like.
Okay, so the horror match this year, they had questions like, at what point does do you see Jason, sorry, not Jason, yeah, Jason with the iconic mask on his face? That was a good question.
Was that in the?
Or was it like how many? There were some things that were like how many spikes are on Freddy Krueger's glove or something like that, right?
No,
that was in my match.
Oh yeah, in your match. No, I don't think it was in your match either.
Yeah, it was, because it was hard for me to answer because I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, and I couldn't figure out 6.
But they were asking also like movies like just a really obscure like movies in general. So like I think out of the horror exhibition match that you did, they asked I think like 2 or 3 questions about movies that were released in the last like decade and a half.
Yeah. You know? A lot of them were earlier. It was like I'll just do this to the audience, and I knew the answer to this. I just like double guessed myself. What like 1980s horror movie deals with lycanthropy or like lycanthropy, you know, werewolves, and stars Angela Lansbury?
Yeah, based off of Stephen King.
No, it's not. Not that one. No. And stars Angela Lansbury, and it's a take on Little Red Riding Hood. It's. I'll give you a second or two for the chat to answer. Probably never going to happen. Sympathy for the Devil is not the song. Okay, so the answer, by the way, is Neil Jordan's In the Company of Wolves. I was thinking Neil LaBute, who wrote In the Company of Men. I've seen In the Company of Wolves, but I just went for my head. I went, there's no freaking way that 2 guys named Neil wrote In the Company of horror movies. Yeah. So I just like completely eradicated it from my mind. So maybe they gave you the idea that Neil Jordan directed it, and I was just thinking Neil LaBute, Neil Jordan. There's no way they're both in the Company of Wolves. So I didn't get it.
Because they asked that, and they also asked what werewolf was based off of Stephen King novel.
Well, yeah, that one's a Silver Bullet. Yeah. Sorry, are you sure? Fallen? It's not. No, it's Time Is on My Side. Is the one they sing in Fallen. Did they Sympathy for the Devil was played in Neil Jordan's adaptation of Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. Sympathy for the Devil is what they're playing at the end when Christian Slater is driving away after being bitten by Brad Pitt. So, or if you're thinking of the Paint It Black song that was in Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon, that's another time Rolling Stone has been used as a horror thing. So I know stuff. Point being that me and Riley going head to head about horror would have been really fun. I really wish that I had, in hindsight, like made sure that was going to happen, put it on the wheel. I just was worried, like, gave me it out. He could have gotten it. I would have had some missing.
And yes, don't forget that, Drew. We'll be back soon in the Schmoedown in some capacity. In the rom-com exhibition in October, I believe.
And guys, that was one that I was like, that was a wild card. I was like, I don't know how much I know about rom-coms, but I really want to see how well I could do in it. And like, no one's going to have me as the favorite for that. So let's just see how I do. And it's going to be a really, really, if there's like one reason that you guys should sign up for the Patreon, one reason, not because of the incredible work everyone does, not because all the great stuff that's going on right now, but because you probably want to see me compete against Josh McCouga you guys do want to see that.
Yep.
Janine and Brienne in a rom-com exhibition match, just to see how good I am at romantic comedies. Spoiler, it's surprising what happens.
I like this answer. Fertia and Lansbury.
Murder She Wolfed. Yeah. So it says, who do you guys got in Merle versus Bateman 2?
Let me answer this one.
Sure.
I had to think about this. I do have to think about these things with the promos. Okay.
Ooh.
I got to have some sort of like I for the promos I have to actually kind of like put myself out of like my body and like my mind.
Like VideoDrew few states.
Yeah. So like kind of comprehend like what a general opinion needs to be about these two people. So the promo has like even weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
And in this format, I think it might grow moral, you know, like Bateman just made it very clear that he's not as comfortable like in the online format. Like it doesn't fit his usual style of playing as strongly as it does with playing in person.
However, I wonder if that's because of the team stuff where you have to talk out stuff out loud.
That's true. I mean, he also had a perfect game against Guy. To be fair, no one's
talking about that. Perfect game.
Yeah, but then if we go by Roka's standards, like a perfect game doesn't mean anything if it only goes 2 rounds. So by his own faction made standards, like it's a moot point. So
yeah,
so it goes back and forth. But my point is that Dan has gotten like several more games, digital games under his belt so far, and he hasn't played his strongest games, I think, but he has like stuck it out, and I think he's kind of gotten ahead of the curve a little bit here. And so I think, right now, what a lot of the competitors are seeing is that these digital games more heavily rely on raw knowledge. And I think
raw dog knowledge.
I think Merle has definitely more raw knowledge than Bateman does, and even Bateman has been that in the past.
I wonder though, like again, because the team matches are a little different. Those are harder to do, I think, because Bateman's whole thing, I think, is that he doesn't want to disclose any information, give anything up about the way his mind works. Mm-hmm. So for those team matches, it's really, really, really hard because you're going back and forth and you're going, yeah. And I think that really got into his head.
And they did bring up a good point, which I do agree with in their favor, is that they're saying it's also hard to deliberate the same way they used to in round 2 and even like 3 if they were to get there, because in the studio, when you ask for a repeat, you can speak to one another while they're saying the question. Like you just use it for time. You're not using it to actually hear the question. In the digital format, you can't do that. Like you can't talk over Mark or Christian repeating the question. You have to wait for them to actually finish, and you only get 15 seconds to discuss. Whereas in the studio, yes, with the repeat, as a reading, you can just like ignore them and just talk to each other again and start right away.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little. I guess they figured out a way to do it. For once, I kind of agree with the Ben thing, which is like, you kind of don't want people to know what the conversation is.
Yeah.
You don't.
And Paul and Lon picked up on that. Like, definitely they have their codes, and like it was a great,
They have codes. Lon and Tom. They had codes.
Oh yeah, they definitely did. People picked up on it in the chat.
Lon and Paul.
Yeah. And
I feel like they talked it out, and they were just, you could see how their mind was working.
For certain things, not the deliberation, but like for other things.
Oh, people picked up. I mean, Kaiser just talking in code specifically, like the entire game.
I think people were just entertained. So.
Yeah, not as much codes, but like entertaining. The codes to each other.
Oh yeah, Janine is now officially the undercard for that match as well.
So Janine's playing again
against Warfather.
When did that happen?
They announced it today.
Oh, so maybe this season isn't over for VideoDrew.
Maybe.
Yeah,
they have an undercard for Janine playing the Warfather and the undercard for Bateman and Merle, which will be September 11th. And,
okay.
So yeah, we'll see how that one.
So guys, just keep telling the message boards you want to see VideoDrew versus Guy, because come on, guys, who doesn't want to see that? That match would be amazing, and like the energy would be great, the entertainment would be great, and the knowledge would be comp.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they are at with that, but like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is there a match tomorrow?
No, there is no match tomorrow. Don't you dare complain because I am.
Don't you dare complain. Do you know what he does? Do you know what this man does for
Like
you?
this is the first Friday off that I have had, and Thursday night off in some sense that I've had in like a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't have a match tomorrow. It'll be a nice little break, thankfully, and then we'll pick back up next week. 4 matches next week.
Yeah. Great. But they're not as. You said it's not. Hopefully not as.
Well, just the fact that we don't have to do like a match, 2 live event matches on Friday, like just opens up my schedule a lot more because I'm able to just through work to get ahead of myself. Whereas like it's it's not saying too much about the work, but the live event promos are like really like tasking to put together because I have to make a lot of something out of a lot of nothing for the most part. There's really little information to work with going into that. More so now because everyone's sending in digital promos, but it takes a lot of story to put in for something that's to live. It has to be concise, it has to be big and like loud. I think it has to have like a certain like flair to it that the regular matches like don't. Like they have to be special.
Flair.
So like I had to put in like a little more work to do that, and like it takes a lot more time to kind of tell a narrative, especially for people who are coming in and watching those things
for the first time.
Like the promos have to walk a fine line, being able to entertain like longtime fans, also explain certain things to newer fans.
Yeah. Look, I gotta say, and I know you were talking a little bit. If I can give a little behind the scenes of, or maybe you don't want me to, but like the but the promo that you had to cut for my match, how hard and difficult that was because everyone's kind of coming in with a different energy and there like was no necessarily through line narrative because like I'm crazy there. Mark showed up totally crazy in that Chewbacca thing.
Yeah, it was a hard egg to crack because everyone was kind of bouncing in different directions. Like Drew was like doing her thing,
but it was like a
couch.
chill thing.
It was like a chill like vibe. Riley was like kind of playing more like a goofy vibe, but also being a little bit serious, a little bit edgy, but like trying to lock himself up. Gucci was playing a usual straightforward.
Kaiser's weird.
Kaiser's being like very weird, like more visual.
And how do you make a narrative out of that?
Yeah, so it was
for new viewers.
Yeah, so like and the hardest part again, I always say like the first part that goes into making promos is to find the right music. And, has said to like let me hear the music, the right track to tell story. And so this one was I think the most difficult one I've had to do in a long time. And last I think several weeks doing all these matches because it was just hard to find like a music that could, embody the tone of those different dynamics.
For a while, I know it's not okay because it's not like you can't just use this music. But I was like, it should really be one of those like technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Or it has to go. No, it goes like something else. The technical difficulty song. Bum, ba, da, 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 da. It should just been a technical. Yeah. Should between two ferns technical difficulty movie like music. So then it just sounded like we're getting our thing back together because retconning this and just a little bit more behind the scenes because it doesn't look like we're gonna do quiz tonight. This is a video Drew and talking about the match thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. Guys, I forgot that what Camshaft or not Camshaft, but PC did was subscribe or on. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It costs a little more to become a member or a sponsor of the YouTube channel, but then you get some extra perks like seeing stuff early, getting special videos just for you. Yeah, Jeremy, this is exactly right. I'm glad you picked up on this. Part of my promo felt like a bonus segment of Live in the Dark with VideoDrew, but in the Schmoedown form. That's exactly what I was going for because the whole thing about VideoDrew is like she was spawned in Schmoedown, but she's always been like a part of me, and this is something I've never tried to do acting or performance or anything until the Schmoedown, but really now. The Schmoedown's more just like a place that she visits. Like she drops in and says hi on the Schmoedown, but her real world exists in this more fully, this more VideoDrew, Pee Wee Herman, space that's like an alternate reality kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's the dark is the hook of it that I enjoy the most is the idea that the Schmoedown players can come in kayfabe and like this is supposed to be like existing in the Schmoedown world. Like when we see the cutscenes of like the barbarian talking to the bandit, like to come on like in the same fashion. It's that idea that we're taking this world kind of exists.
Yeah, the trivia exists, but then without that, these characters still exist, and we go and we have our own lives and our own days. Even having someone like Emma Fyfe on who is not doing kayfabe, she's just reacting in a kayfabe fashion to video Drew. Like, you can be as normal or as weird as you want. Hey, Galagos. Hey, guys, how goes it? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stop by afterward.
It's been a crazy. I gotta say, for all my stuff arriving today, this was like the real sort of thing. It's like my stuff all arrived here today, the same day that like this kind of like ends out my Schmoedown sort of career this season.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sort of that feeling of like, oh yeah, my stuff arrived, and like I'm here now. And of course, Schmoedown is not playing in Schmoedown was not the reason I moved back. I just really like to be around Schmoedown and want to be involved in the community.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, got stuck here.
Yeah.
And now decided that I love it. But it was sort of like this bittersweet moment of being like, all the stuff arrived just in time for me to lose this match.
Yeah, it's like what does they say? Is something more up in the window?
Yeah, this is more like a Hakuna Matata circle of life thing.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, let's see. Do you guys have any more questions? Otherwise, I think we can like wrap it up and we can talk about stuff we have coming up in the near future.
Yeah.
I did reach out to Riley after the game, after his Who's the Boss Shazam game, and I said, look, dude, like it. Okay, maybe I can say this. This is my last behind the scenes thing. I didn't do this in my post-match, thankfully, but like after the post-match was over and like we're all just hanging out backstage and we're saying our goodbyes, I was crying. Like it's not proud, like I'm not unproud of it, but I was crying in front of all these guys, and I didn't want to seem like the chick who's crying because she lost. And they were all really sweet about it. They're great about it. Christian was saying like it's really great to see that you actually like care about this and are taking it seriously, and this is clearly not just like the Drew from last season who like to show up and like have fun. Like I took it seriously. And so when I was watching Mark's match, Riley's match, the team's match, let's see.
No witty quote or anything. Just sending some support before I run to the store. Lol.
Lol. Thanks.
I like how the bot says it with like a little like upbeat. Lol.
Thanks to Skewed One. That's beautiful. Thank you, man.
Have fun at the store.
Yeah. Look, guys, I'm really surprised. I thought I was going to get a lot of heat from this, and I didn't want to be seen as like the girl having. This thing does become across the internet, not just Schmoedown, but it's a tricky line to be a woman on the internet, and it's a tricky line to be a woman competitor, and it's a tricky line to be a woman competitor who's also like an alien who's been beamed down into just, I guess, a randomly arbitrary female body.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to avoid a lot of the toxic stuff because I don't get considered that, and I thought crying is like a difficult thing. I'm glad it wasn't on air, but it felt like a hard part. And when the Founding Fathers and Shazam happened, and Mark was talking about how like this, he doesn't get upset, but this one hurt, and like you could hear him you'd hear him choking up a little bit. Like my immediately thought was like, I wrote him an email and I was like, dude, like you were a class act, like you really want to watch this game, you were the one doing the second round, and like I just have so much respect for you for being like a gentleman player. Mm-hmm. Like you play a gentleman's game, and like it sucks, but like I wrote him and I was like, but you have that win coming up soon, so that's cool. Yeah. And I think we want to get him on the show for doing a hopefully a horror-based VideoChronic quiz.
Yeah, we were trying to work on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay up there. Ryan asks any more chances to do more exhibition matches in the future.
Any chance? I mean, like, look, I don't want to bother Christian matches. They have so much on their plate, like. It's not like a big spoiler, I guess. Like we kind of already announced it that we have the matches pretty much like slated out for the rest of the year. So like we already have those lined up for month to month. But yeah, going to next year, like hopefully everything is like a little bit better. We do more creative exhibition matches. I know definitely wants a heat love. Of course, like a mainstay, we'll do that again for sure. And rom-coms I think we will really love. I know the MCU one Christian really enjoyed that just came out this month. Past month. So look, yeah. I think there's a lot to be done. I think there's a lot that they've been. I mean, God, look at all the stuff you guys have had to like sort of work around, and it's amazing that you guys have done so many matches that you have done. Let's see.
Peggy asked something right there.
Peggy.
Right there with the glow line. It's cut out of. There's. I'm gearing up for the Bateman. Merle promo because that has to be big. But so I have. a track in mind that I'm playing around with that I really like, but I a lot of the stuff, because I have like great tracks that I find throughout the year that I try to like keep in my back pocket for certain things. If it's really great, I try to tell myself like, okay, well, I had to use this for like this match coming up that I know for sure. Well, like, can I save it for this thing, for this event? The track I have now, I'm like debating still if I want to use it now or save it for Spectacular, because I know it'll work there as well. So yeah, it's a kind of ever shifting thing I have to kind of deal with.
Camshaft asks, are you missing writing and editing? What have you been drawn to these days? I actually am getting back in. This is also like part of the craziness the past couple of days. I've been terrible. I've been sick. I've been getting this stuff. But I've also started like a new research project. It's a pretty big deal, and I'm really excited about it. But it's very labor intensive, so I'm going to be doing that for a couple of days. And I also just want to get really, get big on this. Just keep taking this Patreon, keep taking these shows really seriously, and then just doing the best I can, because there's a real opportunity here to like better myself and to make this brand something that I'm, it's not just sort of like, oh, today is the day that I'm keeping track of because it's Monday or it's Tuesday. Like, we're having Wendy on Cinema Bias to talk about Mulan on Tuesday.
The original?
Yeah, the original.
Because the new one comes out tonight.
I know. Well, that's worked out pretty well. So, no, I haven't been missing drawn.
It sounds like such a plug.
It is a plug.
It sounds like such a, because the new one comes on Disney Plus tonight.
Oh, you're plugged. Exactly. Can you... Let's see. We shared for 2 days, hung out. What was that like? I mean, we watched movies.
Who? You shared the first 2 days, hung out. What was it like?
Like, we hung out and we watched movies.
What are you talking about?
You and me.
You and I?
Yeah.
Can you share the first 1 or 2 days you hung out? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it like.
Well, the first day.
Okay.
The first day was the funniest one because that was the modern fonts one.
So
the modern lines, modern lines.
I'd known Eric a little bit, like we had talked before in the Schmoedown stuff, but I didn't really. We're getting a little bit confused about how I even knew to like ask you if I could crash at your house.
Oh, because you asked everyone.
I asked everyone else, but like someone recommended you. I think it might have been Emma Fife or someone being like, NerdChronic's usually good for that kind of stuff, and so like I hit you up. You said like sure, blah blah, and then I like wasn't getting back to you a lot with responses. I was kind of all over the place as I am. I showed up, crashed out that night, like with a million bags. I had like a million stuff on me.
Yeah, a million
suitcases, million pounds of clothes, because like a male model friend of mine had just given me all his clothes, and I was like, I could turn these around on a profit. I crashed out, like completely took over the living room and all this space. And then around the first day, what was happening, I was trying to edit the John Roca doing, and he had done the full edit. All I needed to do was add in a opening like font. Just John Rocan VideoDrew for this little video project I was working on. And I couldn't figure out what font to use. And I was going down a real big VideoDrew spiral. And Eric, who I didn't know that well, was just like kind of looking over my shoulder. And I just kept pressing this one. This font has modern lines.
Yeah, because I was working. And this was, back when the world was still functioning properly. So I was like casually working while she was sitting next to me. And like we were both working on stuff. And it wasn't such a rush. So I was like casually working, and I looked over once in a while to see her just like flipping through font. Every
font, every opening scroll. I mean, I have a font problem. So like font with modern line. And eventually, like Eric looks over, and I'm like freaking out. I'm going into this like spiral, this kind of dark place where I'm just.
Well, the font modern line thing that it cracked me up the most because we were going through like different iterations of the title, like. John Roca and VideoDrew discuss Birds of Prey, or whatever. Like Birds of Prey brought to you by John Roca, whatever. Like all these different combinations of the title you can have. And then I'll look over and you just have the one that just says, this font has modern lines.
Which is the name of the
and
thing.
You're just like, ooh, like this looks good.
Yeah, but it goes to something that I think you find very humorous about me, which is like great because I find it very terrifying myself, which is like this inability to like get out of like these rabbit holes once I fall down into them. So I taught myself how to use this programming software or how to do this editing software. All I wanted to do was get the font.
Yeah.
And I was trying to learn different ways. And I look over and I'm like almost in tears. And Eric is just cracking up. Like Eric's just like, it's like the funniest thing you've ever seen in your life. And immediately I was like, oh man, I'm taking myself too seriously. Like this is the content. And then we like watched like I think we watched more movies in a 48-hour period. Watched in like 3 years.
Yeah.
We watched like Short Term 12. We watched Suicide Squad. We watched Honey Boy. We We watched Knives Out. We watched World's Greatest Dad. Jojo Rabbit.
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep. Just a ton of movies, and we just really clicked. It was just sort of like, oh, this is what I needed. It's just somebody to just understand that I'm crazy.
Yeah, and then the clothes went to Goddard.
Yeah, most of the clothes went to Goddard. And then so yeah, that was pretty much it. Let's see, Birds of Prey project. Oh yeah, that's the one where COVID came and Snyder had COVID.
Yeah, because we looked at the video too recently, and you're just joking like, it's so funny that Snyder has the coronavirus.
I was like, he definitely has coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's probably true. Let's see. There's a couple more questions up here. Let's see. How do I feel about moving out of the garage? Like I'm feeling like I'm not doing that. I've definitely moved into the garage.
Yeah, she's moved more so into the garage.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone said, do you know the boys dropped early? No, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think that it's available now.
Karaoke early tomorrow because of no matches. Absolutely. We're doing it at 8 p.m. So, yeah, I guess those were... Wait, and Camshaft even said, and this close went to Goddard because I guess we've already told the story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then for a while it was just Sondheim musicals because I've gotten this entire house into Sondheim. So I guess that's kind of where we can put a pin in and wrap it up because I know you have more work to do and stuff. Yeah. If you guys want to hear recommendations about some good movies, gotta say Baskin's really sticking with me. This is a Turkish horror movie. If you're really into some messed up stuff, check out Baskin. I told the Fangoria editor-in-chief about it, and he was like, that sounds messed up. And I was like, yeah, it is. But I know about it now. That was a lawn wreck. What else have I seen recently? I'm trying to give a couple like plugs and stuff that's been really good. Arrival, which you finally made me watch.
Oh, yeah.
Arrival is incredible. It's like my point reference to everything. Time Crimes, great. Yeah, I'm just kind of on a thing right now about loops, like loops and causality, time loops.
Temporal stories.
Temporal means, by the way, I asked Lon, he goes, yeah, it's temporal means relating to time in its place in space. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, if you guys have any movie recs, I'm on Letterboxd. That's one of these things that I love giving like kind of full reviews on Letterboxd. But also like you can, I think there's also one for Cinema Bias now where I'm not telling you what movies I've seen or I haven't seen or that Alex hasn't seen, but it's sort of a combo where you can't tell who hasn't seen what. So you can go and look and decide which ones if you want to join up with the Cinema Bias level Patreon. Eric, do you got anything to plug?
No, just that we'll be back next week, hopefully to do the quiz per the usual. A match to stuff, and I think we're trying to work on some a fun one for next week in relation to some stuff that happened this week. And yeah, we'll keep that in wraps until we're secure.
Do I know about it?
You should. I said it to you. If I
Out loud?
Remember. Yeah.
Nope. Okay.
I didn't know. I did not psychically say it to you.
Okay. So yeah. Other than that, so I said Cinema Bias. All the stuff on Sunday. We have Live in the Dark. So go ahead.
Sorry. What time is karaoke?
Karaoke, it can be at 8. It's going to go back to its regular time because I don't have a match.
Okay.
We have Mondays and Thursdays. We do this VideoChronic pop culture quiz, which today was a little bit, more VideoDrew inspired.
Yeah.
Laren says, I love Time Crimes. Time Crimes, perfect time travel movie. We also watched Live, Die, Repeat, which also might have the perfect logic of a time travel movie.
Yeah.
Like as perfect logic. So yeah, if you guys can think of anything that sort of fits into that thing of temporal causality, horror loops, I love that stuff. Mm-hmm. Twitch things is awesome. Sunday, Live in the Dark with VideoDrew. That's the show that it's like all kayfabe, all like Between Two Ferns meets Space Ghost. VideoDrew and her world, inviting on people. It's awesome. What kind of soda do I want tonight? You know what kind of soda I want tonight? The soda is called carbonated water.
That's seltzer water.
Seltzer water. I want seltzer water like an American pickle. Lon is so smart. Yeah, we get it. Lon is so smart. Yeah, he is. Something diet. I'll take a Sprite. Yeah, everyone's in for this. I can actually cook too, Andres, if you're hungry, because I have some extra food. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Live in the Dark will be on 9 p.m. And we have Liz Shannon Miller coming on as our guest, which is going to be awesome. Because
really?
Yeah.
Wow, you didn't tell me that.
That's that. Lon helped do that, and I feel like we're just going to talk about TV stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're TV people.
And guys, it's gonna be so much fun because now I have all these crystals and stuff. Oh, you can't see them, but like I have all these crystals and stuff.
Lots of crystals.
Lots of crystals. the first thing that they opened when the movers came, they undid this big box, and it was a cage, and inside the cage were these 2 human skulls and a bunch of like lavender or like weird kind of like herbs that fell down all over. And the guy just looked at it and he was like, just walked away. And I was just like, oh, Mom, like, why'd you pack those? Like, I told her not to pack the human skulls. Anyway, so guys, sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/VideoDrew, patreon.com/NerdChronic. Everything else is just Gucci, man. I'm VideoDrew across all social media platforms. You know that about me. Oh, that's fine. So yeah, we love you. Take care of yourself.
I'll just bring me a Pepsi.
Be kind, rewind. Can you do like a you know, never mind. Could you okay, bye.